Hello and welcome back. We're actually going to look at a very important topic that so far we've looked at a lot of stuff that has to do with modeling of the program. You're doing your 3D modeling and it looks all great and looks very impressive, but we're not in the process of, this isn't going to be 3D printing a building exactly. So what we need to do is have annotations on here to let people know exactly what it is you're trying to build and what it is that they have to do. Just like any other drafting thing, you're going to want to have any other drafting program. You're going to want to have the final output of this whole thing. What's very important for it is the ability to show them a plan, to get this plan to paper, and to actually have it mean something when you're going to put it down, right? So what we need to do is we've got a few more dimensions in floor 2 that we can look at. We're going to look at putting dimensions onto our paper. So we'll actually take this back into hidden line to take some of this stuff away and get rid of, we're not using our section views for things anymore. We'll get rid of that to get, we don't really need that. We don't need this section view as well. We can put them in later on if we want them. That's not a big deal. So what we can do now, let's take a look here into the annotate. Up at the top in your tabs here, we have an annotate tab. And we can do a bunch of different dimensioning if we'd like to. We've got aligned dimensions, so if you wanted to have from this wall, and this wall, we can bring that up. We want to keep adding in points as it is here, right to the edge, and then bring that all up. We can actually do that on here like that. Bring that out a little ways. Or if we wanted to have it so that we can, measuring different points, say center point of the doors, for example, add that in. The center point of that door, we'll add in some more features. We've actually got the wall on there. We don't want to over dimension something, but we certainly could add in these dimensions and have that in here. You're looking at the average drawing is quite large, 2 feet by 3 feet kind of thing. Like, they're very big. If you're bringing these things to a work site, it's not just going to be a little piddly piece of paper that you've got off your home printer. This is quite an enormous page, generally, and definitely cities and whatnot won't allow you to just hand in whatever size of paper willy-nilly that you'd like to have. They do usually require a certain size and of page in that. So with that in mind, you will want to have it. You're gonna have a much larger piece of paper, generally speaking. Your 2 foot by 3 foot is pretty common practice, really. So you've got a lot of space, is my point, I guess, to put your annotations in, so you don't have to really worry as much with that. It's still nice to have them in a way that makes sense, but you can certainly put them like a lot of different dimensions in there without having to worry about over dimensioning as easily as if it was a smaller drawing. What we can do here is also, we've got under the annotate tab, we can do other things, like we can do radiuses and diameters of a dimension. So we can actually take these curves that we have here, these arcs, and it'll give us a radius. Radius is 25 feet, and this one here is slightly different. And actually, while we're in that, we can actually take that and change what the actual value is. If we'd like to make that into 25 feet 0 like the other one is, we can do that at this point. we could change that up here if we wanted to, or if we wanted to replace the size of it. You know, if we wanted, even though we've drawn it this way, we could draw it, you know, so that it was saying that it was, even though it wouldn't be actually to scale doing the exact same thing, we could actually replace this text with another text in here. There's you know, quite a bit of ways of doing that. So if we were to do this in here right now, we could change that. We could also change the wall, and where that's at, we would escape out of our annotate tab, and as we're moving stuff around in there, move where that is, it's going to change our radius. Change quite a bit of how that works. If a person wanted to, it's going to move it around. So it's giving me a little bit of an error. It didn't really like what I did there. It's just moving the entire wall, I guess, at that point. Don't really want to move the entire wall. Let's cancel that. But anyways, yeah, you can sort of see what it's ending up doing. Because we've spread the radius to this point rather than, you know, to another point that's equal. You know, it's really moving this around. Anyways, yeah, so the point is that, yes, it will give you the radius. We can actually get rid of this one, and we can use the diameter one. It should give us a diameter, but it's going to put your drawing way out at the edge. And if you were to have a, you know, circle, clearly that would be the diameter. It's giving you a center point of it, but that's not really what we're at here either. We haven't got a circle, but yeah, we'll keep it in there for now. Just what the heck. We could do arc lengths too. It will tell us how long that particular arc has been. And there's the measurement, bringing it down. So we want to annotate arc length. That's giving us our arc for that one. And the outward arc for that one. That's how those ones work. So we're clicking around in there. We've got a few different things. Angular. I mean, we haven't really got anything on any wild and crazy angles. You know, at best we're going to have a 90-degree angle, but we could do angular. 2 different points. Oh, look at us go. We've got a 90-degree angle. That's pretty crazy, because we've been drawing everything on 90 degrees. It really shouldn't be too surprising that would be a 90-degree angle in our, you know, but you can sort of see that. Maybe we'll draw a wall in there just to give us an angle. What the heck? Throw another wall in there and put it out that way. Put something else this way. And we can just something to measure. So we'll go back into annotate here. We'll look into angles. We want from this wall and click on from that wall to that wall. It's 40 degrees. From that wall to that wall, we bring that out to 85. That wall to that wall, another 85. That wall to that wall. $65. It's getting pretty over you know, dimensioned, sort of looking a little bit bundled up there with everything is a little bit crazy. But whatever, we were just building up to show you that this is how we would use that function. You know, didn't really have anything in there. This wall wouldn't probably make a whole lot of sense really to have in there anyway. So, but that's fine. I mean, maybe if you're trying to do it in the same sort of manner, you could annotate, should be able to check out the angles of, say, this couch to that wall. If you wanted furniture to be at a certain point for an interior decorator or something like that, you're wanting to have, these types of things be in a certain position, you certainly could do that with this, and have the couch, say, for example, so far out, maybe that would be from here to there. I don't know. It's not really picking up on that, but I never really tried this myself because I didn't really see much point in it. You're just going to move. You're just going to move the couch around to where it needs to be. It's usually not part of a floor plan so much. It's an interior design plan maybe, but certainly not a floor plan. Nobody really, your builders aren't going to care that there's going to be couches in the way. They actually probably would be quite annoyed that there was couches in the way at this point. I've had that several times where you're building something and then all of a sudden the client wants to put all their furniture into the place even though nothing's actually there to put the building in there. But anyways, whatever, that's not the point. We're just showing you how some of these dimensioning tools work. I'll go back and annotate again. We could maybe pick up on where these center points of the elevators are in here and throw that in, right? So, not too bad, pretty easy stuff. From this wall, we'll pick the center point of those. We'll pick this wall here and the edge of this wall, and we'll give that a dimension in there. You get the idea. I mean, we're not going to measure, we're not going to do the whole thing. Certainly you could do quite a bit of it, throw that out to there, the edge, and then that will give you dimensions out the side. It's pretty easy to get all this stuff in there. You could sit there all day and dimension this. We're not going to worry about that. I was just showing you how some of these work. Certainly, it's pretty easy to do dimensioning. It's pretty, to label all the stuff up. You sit there all day long and do it the proper way. But there's the tools anyways. This is how you'd end up doing it. You could certainly add some text into stuff if you wanted to. Maybe we're gonna add some text, and this is maybe a boardroom. Well, certainly has a bit of a gap there, but it can be edited still. So there we are, boardroom, and now we've got that labeled. We label a few of the rooms. We can do other sorts of bits. If we wanted to put leaders onto it to show that something was happening in there, we could certainly use leaders for it. Run that into there, and elevator 1. It's the E1. And maybe that's exactly what happens. We've got that in there. And now we've got that labeled as E1. We can do the next one as a curved leader. And that'll be E2, smaller. E will maybe correct that and have a uppercase E. And you can see that's pretty easy enough to figure that out. You've got all kinds of different things that you can do with it. If you've used any kind of a word processing type of thing at all, then you'll be familiar with a lot of this. Anyways, you've got different margin type of adjustments that you can do, aligning things to the center, align it to the right, there's tons of stuff that you can actually do in here with that. We can do measurements in here that aren't particularly, it won't stay in there. It's just putting a measurement in there to give you an idea of what is there, kind of. And that'll show up at the time that you're looking at it, but it's not in there permanently, like how the dimensioning is for. It just escaped out of it. It went away. That's just if you're trying to check a point, check up what it was that you were doing in there, but didn't want to dimension the piece. There you have it. You just do it that way. You do all kinds of bits in here with tagging stuff. You can draw in whatever you're trying to do in this. If you're wanting to put in an elevation of something, you certainly could do that. Maybe we'll take a look at the 3D view. Should open this up here. And probably more importantly, we could do that sort of thing. Spot elevation. Where's the top of this desk? Not sure why that's reading 11 foot 9, but this floor is actually starting at 12 feet. But it is just you're picking a point in there and having it come out of the drawing. 47. So where we've got that bit there, we've got it labeled as 47 feet 8 and 5/16 inches, and it is just slightly below the level 5, which is at 48 feet. So that's basically that's what it's doing, what it's trying to tell you. I'm not sure what it was trying to measure on the desk. I thought it was picking up on the desk, but it certainly couldn't have been picking up on the desk at that point. Anyways, there's how we're doing a bit of our annotation. You can sort of see some of the stuff we put in there now. Take a look at our building that we've got. It's looking not too bad. We can move on there. I mean, I could bore you to death with how to, dimension all your floors. But, certainly we don't need to. We don't even have walls in the next ones up for what it's worth right now. No dimensioning really necessarily at that point. Anyways, on to the next video.